weren't there. Look, I tell you, we from the time that we were met in Adelaide Airport by past District Governor, immediate past Governor Barbara Whitcroft and Vic Gadiscus, we have had the best time. Anne and I have been treated to so much hospitality and friendship, and thank you, John, very much for appointing them. We came in and, of course, we had our mayoral reception with Bruce Green. We came to the Nautilus Theatre, and thank you to those who do all the technical side of things here. It's a wonderful space. Also, I note that Rob McLennan, our MC, came from Victoria some 20 years ago, but he's currently a sergeant at Adelaide Light. Pity he wasn't able to get the screen to catch up with us, but is he still catching up? We know that there is a reason for it. We met our exchange students who introduced themselves. Are they still here? Oh, thank you. We heard from Stephen Kemp about growing up in Port Lincoln, life on the beach, the allure of the sea, and of course his sailing exploits. And he talked about the progress of Port Lincoln and its challenges, and the fact that we have here the only remaining tuna cannery in Australia. Steve Larkins talked about the Virtual War Memorial, an ongoing resource, a wonderful resource. And within their community engagement model, they have asked Rotary to help in making the virtual wall a reality. Keith Abraham, all about passion, and saying that you're doing the things you love in your life gives you energy. And when you have something to look forward to, life is better. Couldn't agree more. The Friday night dinner, for us, it was at the golf club. No, the yacht club. There was the water, that's right. It was a very happy and relaxed evening. And I do remember. We started the next morning with Mel Irons, and what a sensational presentation that was. She said that she'd had a moment, but what a moment that was. A generator on a skateboard, being rocked in by two older women, and the power of one she talked about. The Australian story which had irons in the fire. It's a real lesson about mobilising community through technology. Mind you, if she'd titled her speech Light Up Tasmania, that would have been a very different connotation. Doris Sagdansky about empathy and the way that we need to connect better with people in their grief. Not he had a good innings, or at least she died peacefully, but things like, it sounds like. I still believe that the art of living is to die young as late as possible. Emma Forster talked about my two mums and the girl from here who went to boarding school and then on to Japan and now has a lifelong bonding with her first family, particularly her host mum. Thank you, Tony. Is Tony here? Oh boy. A question about how to further better relations between Australia and Japan. A wonderful thing. She really knew how to handle that. Thank you. I'd like to be in your club if you ask these sorts of questions. It stretches the meetings. Also, I can say this, I'm going out of the district again. Yeah, right. Also mentioned by those under the youth segment, it was life-changing, and this was hosted by Steve McLaughlin. And we heard about the positive and lasting impact of youth exchange, of RYLA, RYPEN, and of course our Rotaractors. We also got some advice about what to do to appeal to younger Rotarians, to do with cost, less formality, and meal times, if indeed you're having a meal. Felice Jacker talked about diet and mental illness and the correlation there, and the fact that our diets today have changed so much from those years ago, and the staggering cost of mental illness worldwide. In Hobart, we had our District 9800 conference 2 weeks ago. Felice spoke there. She's a great advocate for Australian Rotary Health and her research. But we went from there into all of the cakes and things at morning tea, which everyone's going, oh, should we be doing this? But at least here you went from here to Subway rolls. The conference dinner last night, well, it was mentioned also before by our presenters, what a wonderful time. It really was a wonderful time, and a thank you. The happiness and the joy that was there last night was palpable. Dr. Jill Hicks, wow, is peace possible? What a title for an address, and what she has had to face. Jill, are you here? She was there. That's what happens when you have stretch breaks. Otherwise, they don't go, you see. I would just like to say, from Priority One and Dead But Talking, some amazing things and how precious each life is. But the fact that she harbours no hatred, no bitterness. She's angry, but that's where it ends. And she's created her own legacy. That was a remarkable story and a beautiful presentation. Bruce Allen, thank you on behalf of everyone for a Rotary Foundation address that was so different. And the fact that you went overseas with your son and your grandson and made that tie together, what a wonderful way of doing it. We hear the figures, and John said a few and I said a few 2 days ago, but today this was a really lovely thing. A very good promotion for bananas, and the fact of seeing the mix of Rotary with 600, the government with 1,700, and then the personal labour, which the person had to do to have the house go to them. A wonderful system, and a thank you for that very personal and different presentation. Malcolm Lindquist, I'm glad you brought up about who's flying this plane, because, whoa, I thought when I read this is really something to go through. You mentioned about David Rusk's school in Kathmandu and how many people contributed, and what a wonderful legacy that's left there. But I love the questions a bit, which sort of plane do you want? I kept thinking the flying boat would be great for Port Lincoln. It's just such a magnificent place. There might be a business opportunity there. But recruiting pilots who can truly fly modern planes, that is our challenge. We have to get people who are more technically minded than us, well, than most of us. Di Gillies and Cape Addison about Interplast and the fact that there's been a relationship between Rotary and the College of Surgeons since 1983, changing lives dramatically in the Asia-Pacific region. And I love the fact that not only is the medical work being done on the people with disfigurements or burns or whatever it might be, but there's so much training that's going on as well. That's fantastic. Doug, I don't know if you're back out yet, but to Doug and your team, have a wonderful time in the mighty Barossa. It's a great part of the world, and all of Australia and most of the world knows about it. Have a great time. To Barb and Vic, thank you so much. You've looked after us wonderfully. Really grateful. I've already said that in private, but thank you. To John and Julie, congratulations. Last night we were having drinks before our meal, and John was standing in profile. There was the harbour and the water at the background, and I said, "You really look like Kevin Spacey." And he did. So help me, if you just have a look at him side on at some point, well, Kevin Spacey's an actor, by the way, anyway, that's another thing. I thought that was enough. John and Julie, you've led this conference with energy. You have a great team behind you, and really congratulations on making it so happy and such a successful one.